Hey, it's your Uncle Herman here, and I'm still an alpha male. Today I wanted to continue my Where Are They Now series by looking into whatever happened to the Janoskians. The Janoskians were a group of Australian YouTube personalities that reached the peak of their YouTube fame between 2012 and 2014. Their channel consisted of 5 young guys, Bo Brooks, his twin brothers Luke and Jay Brooks, and their friends James and Daniel aka Skip, who got famous for posting pranks on YouTube and eventually branching out into music. One of them even dated Ariana Grande in 2012. But before we have a look at their history on the platform and where they are now, I'd like to take a moment to thank my sponsor for this video, Ren. Recently, with the constant stream of news about the planet and how climate change is affecting us, I can get really overwhelmed by it and start doom scrolling on Twitter and worrying, which is where Ren can come in to make it feel more manageable and show you the small things that you can actually be doing to help the climate crisis. By answering a few simple questions about your lifestyle, you can calculate your carbon footprint and learn how to reduce it, which is genuinely such a useful and insightful tool. As you can see, my carbon footprint was pretty high, which was concerning but good to know, as now that I know, I have the tools to reduce it. You can also sign up and make monthly contributions to projects around the world that are making a difference, such as providing clean cooking fuel for refugees or helping indigenous people living in the Amazon rainforest protect their land. So you can offset your carbon footprint with Ren today by clicking the link in the description, and the first 100 people who sign up using my link will have 10 extra trees planted in their name, which I think is such a worthy cause, and I'm so excited to be working with them. So thanks again to Ren, and let's get on with the video. The Janoskians started posting in 2011, and the name Janoskian was an acronym for just another name of silly kids in another nation, originally making prank videos for their friends and just uploading to YouTube for fun. Then it quickly grew into a money-making empire as they reached over 1 million subscribers and gained a loyal fan base who would camp out just to get a chance to meet them at one of their meet and greets. In their heyday, their content mirrored sort of Sam Pepper and Jake Paul, in that the main selling point was that they did reckless pranks on the street, but what truly made them famous, much like any other YouTube group of teenage boys, was their loyal fan base of mainly teenage girls who would turn up to get a chance to meet them in their thousands. So much so that in 2014, the Janoskians decided to meet fans in Times Square, thinking that there couldn't be that many people that turned up, but then after 20,000 people turned up, they ended up shutting down 7th at 43rd Street for hours to try and control the crowd. They also had a music career which included hits such as That's What She Said and Real Girls Eat Cake, which sent them around the world on 3 world tours in 2013, 2014 and 2016, which were all huge sold-out successes. It's safe to say that the Janoskians were in the right place at the right time and reaped the benefits of being YouTube famous in the golden age of YouTube stardom. But that fame did not come without criticism. The main criticism came from their pranks on strangers and their general disturbances to the public, which was very much the trend on YouTube at the time, with others like Sam Pepper profiting off of the exact same behaviour and quote-unquote pranks on the public. These types of videos included filming people in public toilets, shouting at women, lying on top of people and asking them to kiss them.
What's going on? Ooh. Yeah, I'll just... Oh! No, kiss me.
Hello.
You're pretty sexy.
Oh, thank you.
Can I have a kiss?
No.
Why not? Just one kiss.
No.
Please?
No.
Why not?
Because.
I just saw you sitting down all alone, thought you could use some affection.
Thank you.
You're beautiful to me.
Thank you very much.
That's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong place.
You know, the classic content of early YouTube that seemed normal and fun at the time, but looking back was probably quite gross behaviour. I'm not excusing it at all, but I will say that they were certainly not the only ones doing it and were very much a part of a trend of boys getting famous on YouTube by filming themselves in public, doing pranks and daring each other to do things and then uploading it. In 2014, the group complained after YouTube started age restricting their videos, propelling the narrative that they'd been flagged due to being shirtless, when in fact YouTube said that they had been flagged as their content was encouraging dangerous activities with risks of self-harm. A spokesperson for YouTube also said that we're sensitive to harmful and dangerous content that involves minors. It's unclear the real reason that YouTube targeted them, as we know YouTube has a history of flagging videos for their own undisclosed reasons, which can drastically change a YouTuber's views and revenue. But it is true that their pranks were sometimes dangerous and involved minors. The fact that this content got them record deals on world tours is something that was so specific to that era of YouTube. You just wouldn't see that kind of thing happening now. Though of course there will always be social media stars that decide to release music and go on tours. To create a sellout boy band from prank videos is unheard of these days. But now it's been about 7 years since the height of Janoskians' success, so where are they now and how are they dealing with a life post-YouTube fame? The group started to part ways in 2016 when they announced that James would be leaving the group, much to a lot of the fans' dismay, but they would continue as a four for a few more years, releasing singles and uploading videos, until 2018 when they announced their movie Public Disturbance and would stop uploading on YouTube until over 2 years later with an update from one of the members. The 2018 movie was described as a comedy feature film inspired by the pranks performed by the comedy troupe Janoskians, which is automatically a recipe for a disaster, but at least they tried. They even had Mike Tyson there. Every big YouTuber around 2016 to 18 had a moment where film executives saw that they were popular online and decided to blow loads of money and taking these YouTubers into the mainstream, and they almost never went well. In fact, I don't know a single YouTuber movie that was a genuine success. The movie was predictably very poorly reviewed and just a bit of a train wreck overall. It seemed to mark the end of the Janoskians as we knew them. So after the trailer for this movie dropped, their channel went quiet, and it wasn't until over 2 years later in August 2020 that fans would get an update from Luke Brooks saying that the group were doing their own things now.
Now, it's been about 2 years since I've logged onto this channel and it's quite evidently dead. It's so inactive that it's not even eligible for monetization anymore. And I'm quite surprised to see we still have over 2 million subscribers, so wow. This is the first official post on this account in 2 years. All of us boys are doing good. We're all pretty much doing our own thing now. My twin brother Jay is a full-time artist and he's pretty much living with James Imuni right now, who is currently a producer. Bro got a bachelor in audio engineering and is currently selling his pubes online for $300 a pop. If you thought he was cooked back in the day, well boy, you're in for a shock. I'm still doing video work and content production, mainly for private businesses now. And Daniel is just doing Daniel.
The video is mainly an update and advert for Luke's twin brother Jay's new art channel that he'd been collaborating on. The channel's called Art and Stuff and is still occasionally active with over 13,000 subscribers. It's kind of refreshing to me to see them be more authentic small YouTubers. Luke said himself that it wasn't about the views anymore, and so it does seem like it's been driven by a genuine passion and creativity, which is very rare to see in retired YouTube stars. It seems like the twins are doing well and focusing on their own passions away from the spotlight, which is great to see in my opinion. Jay even posted a Q&A video on his art channel where he addressed the question what happened to the Janoskians, which was met with a positive response.
So we stopped Janoskians now like 2 to 3 years ago. To be honest with you, life after the Janoskians has been, you know, for me, quite miserable, confused, lonely, and I say all this shit because after the Janoskians finished, I never knew what I wanted to do with my life. For the past 4 years, I wasn't in a good place at all. And, you know, it happens to a lot of people. They don't know what they want to do with their life, and that eventually, you know, makes them to be depressed and confused, lonely, scared, like I was. But, you know, all I can say is if you are going through something like that, just know that it will eventually get better. It's such a cliche thing to say, but it will eventually get better. You just have to have a focus, a goal, or some direction you want to take. Why did you and the others stop with the Janoskians videos? Well, with the Janoskians videos, we filmed that when me and Luke were like fucking 15 when we started. Bo was 18, Skip was 16, James was 15. Yeah, we were young kids and we did it for fun. We didn't do it, you know, expecting to make a career out of it. It was just for fun and to have a laugh and share with our friends. And that's what it was for the first couple of years. It was all just a laugh and fun until after a while it turned into, you know, fuck, we have to film because now it's our job. So we lost the raw comedy style that we used to have, and I don't know, I think the content just turned really stale. To be honest, I don't think any of us wanted to be pranksters for our whole life. Like, we could get away with so much shit when we were younger because we were young. Now imagine I'm 25 and I'm on the train barking in someone's ear, I'll get hit in the face because I'm 25 now. Yeah, it was funny back then because we were kids. It was pretty funny. But now, if we do it, we'd just be pestering people. It wouldn't be the same. You can't fucking do pranks for the rest of your life. You can't be 30 years old and doing pranks. You can, but it's not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. No way.
I found this video to be really honest and a very real insight into what life has been like for someone who's moved away from the intensity of YouTube fame. Jay talked about how he was confused and lonely and didn't know where his life was headed, which I think is a very real thing that social media stars both of the past and present have to deal with when their moments of fame start to fade or when they grow out of their content. And I also appreciate how he acknowledged that the group got away with a lot of stuff when they were young and that continuing to do that as they got older to make the same content that they did would have just been inauthentic. The comments under the video are very positive and seem to agree, saying things like, I was a huge Janoskians fan when I was like 12 years old, and now I'm 19 and things are completely different. You are my favourite member because you loved art just as I do, and I'm happy to see that you're focusing on your passion. Another said, the Janoskians ended when it needed to. Continuing it at this point would have been beating a dead horse, plus the majority of the fanbase are fully grown adults now. Another says, I'm kinda glad Janoskians won't come back. It was a special time and it's nice that only some of us were a part of it. Janoskians wouldn't fit in with today's trends, and you boys have grown up and found your own passions. Even if you did come back, I feel it would never be the same. The other remaining members, Bo and Daniel, seem to be most active on Instagram. Daniel, better known as Skip, is now a father and occasionally posts on TikTok, but like Jay has a modest following and a much quieter life. And Bo Brooks continued to make music on his own for a while before stepping away in 2020, and now in 2022 he started a travel YouTube channel called Australia Gone Wild with his friend Brooke Roberts, and they just recently posted a video called Famous to Homeless: Life After Fame, where he documents his decision to live life on the road after the Janoskians. I will say that it's a slightly clickbait title, as they seem to be homeless and living on the road by choice, which is not usually what the word homeless implies, but much like the others, they seem to have adjusted to a much more quiet and humble life after their mass YouTube stardom. When I started researching for this video, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to find, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by their candidness about how it's been leaving the world of YouTube fame that they were in for so many years. They seem to have each had their own hardships since the Janoskians ended, but are very aware that that chapter of their life has closed and are now adjusting back to normal life and coming out the other side. And a lot of them are still making social media content, but much more occasionally and for smaller audiences, out of more of a passion and interest rather than for views or money, which is what most of YouTube was back in the early days. So it's refreshing to see, as it reflects those really early days of YouTube where everyone was just having fun. So that's the trajectory of where the Janoskians are now and what they've been doing since their YouTube fame. I do honestly wish them all the best. Their videos back in the day were not necessarily to my taste, but they seem to have grown into such genuine adults and adapted to their life after fame by accepting that it's over rather than trying to hang on to it with anything and everything that they've got. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much to Ren for sponsoring this video. I have, as always, been your Uncle Herman, and I will see you very soon.